So I want to welcome everybody to our second round of nutrition acupuncture with Dr. Robert Baritz. Tonight, we're going to focus on how to strengthen immunity naturally. We had a great course in the fall into the winter, and I am happy that everybody registered. So the way we do this, Dr. Baritz is going to give the presentation. You have the notes, follow along. He also shares his screen to see it. There will also be a short video that's available for you to rewatch on YouTube, and Dr. Baritz will talk about that. These are all being recorded, and since you are a paid attendee or signed up for the one class trial, you'll have access to this recording in about a week when it's edited. And if you're with us if you've already signed up for all the classes, you'll be getting a new link next week for the entire course. So that link will work for each and every week, and we will have access to the recordings each following week when they are edited and put together for your use. So if you don't know Dr. Robert Baritz, he is one of our top nutrition accounts in all of New England. He has been doing chiropractor and also, as you see, acupressure, nutrition response testing, and heart sound recorder in his very busy practice in Brockton, Massachusetts. He is one of my mentors in the Southern New England district for standard process and has been teaching our doctors and practitioners nutrition, herbal medicine, and practice management. And that's a big deal when you look at how to move forward in your business side of things. So that is something that we've done in the past, but this is a very laser focused program. We have a Q&A box and we have a chat box. So we're using the chat box for responses to Dr. Baritz's questions to you. He might ask several questions during the course of this half hour, and feel free to just throw them in the chat box. Like, hey, who's ever heard of XYZ? And just throw it in the chat box. If you have a specific question, please put it in the Q&A box, and then we will get to it before the end of class. Hopefully, sometimes we run a couple minutes over. But I don't want to take up any more of this time, and I stretched that out so we have just about everybody on who's registered. So that's fantastic. Welcome, good evening, and here we go.
Hi, well, so great to be with you. I really enjoyed our last series in 2021, and I've been really looking forward to and preparing for our presentations this year. This is how to strengthen immunity naturally. Here's the required FDA disclaimer. So I'm going to talk about primarily respiratory tract infections. I'm not going to mention any specific diseases. I leave that to your imagination. But the beauty of the holistic treatment is it really doesn't matter what the specific disease is, because we are not treating the disease, we are merely treating the patient that has a disease. And that makes all the difference in the world. You know, as I'm sure you know, it is impossible to defeat viruses, bacteria, and fungus. And as a matter of fact, it's completely undesirable to attempt to do that. Viruses, bacteria, and funguses play an essential role in the circle of life. Okay, and they act to render dead and dying tissue back to the soil. If there were no viruses, bacteria, or funguses, then every tree that fell in the forest, any animal that died, any even person that died would still be here, and we'd be all crowded out on the planet. There wouldn't be any place for it, and there'd be no food to grow because there'd be no soil to grow. So viruses, bacteria, and fungus provide this important function of rendering dead and dying tissue back to the soil. The problem is when the host, the mammal, the human, when the person's body is in a weakened condition, the virus think, oh, this tissue is dead and dying. It's time to bring it back to the soil, and that's when it becomes a serious illness. So we need to focus on strengthening the vitality of the individual. You might know yourself, 12 people or 125 people or 1,000 people may be exposed to the same vector. They'd be in the same meeting, what they call a super spreader. And one person or 10 people end up on ventilators in the hospital, and a certain percentage of people don't even know they have the cold. The vector was the same. The difference was the host. And that's where we live. So respiratory tract infections, a holistic approach. In addition to hand washing and physical distancing, holistic medicine can do a lot to help keep people healthy. If you think about respiratory tract infections in terms of 4 phases, you will always know what to do. In this webinar, I intend to cut through the confusion of what to do about respiratory tract infections. I will review and expose to you the 4 stages of infections of the respiratory tract and how to support your patients with nutrition and acupressure. Okay, so I just want to confirm, are you seeing a new slide now that says nutrition and acupressure with Dr. Baritz? Just somebody say yes in the chat box so I make sure everything is running properly here. Good, okay, very good. So everything important in this webinar, which is the clinical tools you're going to need, are on this little handout which was included to you. And we'll go much more in depth in the webinar, but the handout is your download, and we see here's the cover sheet. This here will bring the patient to the video itself that you'll see shortly. This talks about how to find an acupuncture point and defines certain anatomical terms like anterior and posterior, superior and inferior. It also defines the unit of measurement that's used to identify parts of the body called the cun. And the cun is 1 proportional inch. So 3 inches on a baby's body will bring you to an absolutely different location than 3 inches, let's say, on Ben Viola's body. But the cun, 3 cun, will bring you to the same anatomical location, and this explains that for your patients. This is the slide that will cover the 3 points, which you're going to cover in detail, but this is easy, quick reference for your patients to find. And here is the immune protocol. I am so happy with this protocol because just a quick look at it shows the simplicity. And when a person is sick, they don't want a lot of, things to do. We'll go over each one of these steps in a few minutes. And then here is the medical advice disclaimer, so people don't become confused and think you're doing something you're not doing. And over here is a quick advertisement for your patients. I've created 4 courses: how to heal a concussion fast, neurological recovery, healing from the ground up, improving erections, new hope for Alzheimer's, and carpal tunnel syndrome, relieving rest pain. And those are available at my website. And for those of you that want to become an affiliate of mine, you can offer these and you will get a 20% commission on any courses that you sell off of your website or off of your Facebook page. Additionally, if somebody purchases from your website or Facebook page, we'll tag them, and you'll get 20% for any purchases they make for the next next 12 months. Okay, respiratory tract infections, 4 phases. Phase 1, prevention. Phase 2, symptomatic. Phase 3, respiratory distress. And phase 4, recovery. Phase 1, prevention. The time for prevention is when you're feeling well. The keynote of prevention is keep people healthy. So there's really very few things you need to know on this webinar. One of them is, in the prevention phase, you want to do everything you can to keep people healthy. In addition to the CDC guidelines, I recommend that your patients get plenty of rest, exercise regularly, eat a clean diet, and I also recommend taking certain supplements. So because we're holistic professionals, our treatment, quote unquote, begins before the patient is ill. And let's take a look at the treatment. The first product that I absolutely recommend is Epi-Immune Complex, 1 capsule twice a day. Epi-Immune Complex is a vegetarian immune system support product designed to help the immune system stand up to challenges. It's great for any type of immune challenge, acute, chronic, or even autoimmune conditions. The next product that I recommend is Cataplex D, 1 tablet twice a day. Cataplex D supports bone health, mineral absorption, the immune system, and cellular processes. I want to talk a little bit about D, because if you hear about, oh, D3, is that D3, doctor? Doctor, I want to have D3. You know, when I was growing up, I never heard about D3, but now everything is D3. So I wanted to take a few minutes and explain to you what D3 is. D3 is cholecalciferol, and it's the type of D that's made naturally in the human body or in mammal bodies when the human or mammal is struck by sunlight. This is the vitamin D that grew up with us throughout all of history. And then in the 1930s, some smart chemists found out, you know, you can make a vitamin D, which they call D2, ergocalciferol, if you take a mushroom and you expose it to radiation. You'll form this new chemical that's a variant of D, and they called it D2. And as time progressed, and especially after World War II, D2 was blessed with the holy halo of being vegetarian. And they sold millions of doses of this D2 because, 1, it was cheap to make, and 2, it was cheap to make. So then, unbelievably, in the last maybe 15 years, researchers concluded that a huge breakthrough, the D3 is better than the D2. You know, it took them all this time and all this research for them to come to the conclusion that the D3 that was created in the human body for millions of years is better than the D2 that was created by exposing mushrooms to atomic radiation. Wow, what a breakthrough. Somebody really invested some money in that. So I want to tell you one of the checkbox reasons why I love Standard Process. Because Standard Process never got on the money-making bandwagon of D2. And those other vitamin companies, you can be sure they were selling this cheap D2. I mean, you know, I'm talking, you know, pennies to the barrel. You know, they were selling it. They were advertising it better. They were advertising it as vegetarian. Standard Process, they never blinked. They never jumped on the bandwagon. They always, you know, offered the same D3 that we all know and love. Now, it's interesting that D2 is now only offered in 2 places. One, for patients that have rare kidney conditions, they cannot handle the D3, and so that works for them. This is like less than 1% of the population, 0.01% of the population. But where they sell all the other D2, they put it in milk, they put it in cereal, and they put it in orange juice, so they can make label claims saying we're now fortifying it. Why do they fortify it with D2 instead of D3? I asked you that question. I'd like somebody put it in the chat box. Why are they fortifying with the cheap D2 instead of the more potent D3? I'd like to see a couple of answers. And as you're doing that, I'm going to move on. The next is Echinacea C, 1 tablet twice a day. Echinacea C supports a healthy immune system, supports healthy white blood cells, and it's a blend of the 2 potent Echinacea species, the Echinacea angustifolia and the Echinacea purpurea. And it includes the vitamin C complex, which increases phagocytosis, and white blood cell activity. Okay, I don't think I've seen the answer here to my question. Does anyone need me to tell you the answer? Why are they selling now? Why are they fortifying with the cheap D2 instead of the more potent D3? Why is it being done? Cheaper, of course. They're still at it, but not my friends at Standard Process. So look, we've given you a few products here. What Standard Process has done is they put them all in a little packets. You can buy a 30-day supply. How simple for your patients. They take one packet twice a day. It has the exact doses that I recommend. Now we move on to the phase 2 of the symptomatic phase. The symptomatic phase is characterized by cold and flu symptoms. I've got a cough, I've got a fever, I've got chills, I've got the sniffles. The keynote of this phase is promote recovery. When patients are sick, you focus your treatment on promoting recovery. The usual recommendations are to stay at home and avoid contact with others. In addition, I recommend reducing stress, getting lots of rest, drinking plenty of fluids, and eating only when hungry. I also recommend certain supplements, of course. Immunoplex, 2 capsules 3 times a day. Supports a healthy immune system response. Helps maintain normal white blood cell activity, already in a normal range. Supports normal inflammatory response as it relates to periodic challenges, and provides ingredients with antioxidant activity. Despite the professional and popular media attention to the immune system, the body does not have an immune system, like a skeletal system or a respiratory or reproductive system. It is better described as an immune alliance among various systems and organs, which form a coordinated response to the presence of disease-associated factors such as a virus or a bacteria. The immune alliance is primarily composed of the thymus gland, the spleen, the long bone marrow, the stomach, the intestinal flora, lymphoid tissue, liver, and the skin. Immunoplex is perfectly suited to supporting the immune system response because it contains bone, liver, spleen, and thymus extract, as well as nutritional yeast. This unique product is another reason that I always reach for Standard Process supplements to support my patients. Who has a product like this? No one. But of course, our friends at Standard Process, under the guidance of the now deceased Dr. Royal Lee. What is the next product? The next product is Cataplex F. Provides a natural source of omega-3 fatty acids, promotes healthy skin, hair, and nails, contains iodine for thyroid support, and supports transport of calcium. 2 caps, 3 twice a day. Cataplex C, 3 caps, 3x a day. Cataplex C supports the immune system, skin, connective tissue, and bone health. Now, you're going to think I've been told to promote Standard Process, but Ben said I can say anything I want. But I got to tell you, this is one more reason why I love Standard Process. It's a perfect example of a whole food versus a synthetic. Synthetic C is ascorbic acid, which provides only part of the C complex. However, when you absorb ascorbic acid, it seeks the cofactors necessary for its function, and it takes it out of the liver, the adrenal glands, and the marrow. So eventually, Cataplex ascorbic acid leads to vitamin C deficiencies, which are expressed in the form of bruising and easy bleeding. Cataplex C utilizes the complementary factors that are stored in the natural tissues and from the things that are put in the Cataplex C, so it's a balanced product and it strengthens your immune system. Okay, next product, calcium lactate, 2 tabs 3 times a day, supports and maintains cell membranes, which is part of the innate immunity, provides additional support for the immune system response function, supports muscle contraction, nerve conduction, helps maintain healthy bone density, supports proper functioning of the enzyme systems. Well, Standard Process packages this up in a little 10-day supply package, and you get 30 packs in the pack. Your patient takes 3 packs a day, spread out through the day, and that gives them the exact dose. Whether the illness lasts 10 days or 50 days, they get a box for every 10 days they need it, and that'll take them through it. Okay, also consider during the illness phase, pneumotrophin, PMG, upon arising, 3 tablets. This supports healthy lung functions, and Dr. Royally used the PMGs to support body tissues to reduce the chance of chronic inflammation, which certain respiratory tract infections cause. And then Fengree, three times a day with a glass of water. Fengree must be taken with a lot of water to get in the system. Once absorbed, it begins to flow into the tissues, thinning and freeing mucus. While most manufacturers focus on cough suppressant, which can leave toxic mucus in the body, Fengree focuses on getting the toxic mucus out rather than suppressing the cough. A normal sign is when the skin begins to have that wonderful scent of fenugreek, demonstrated that has permeated the system. All right, phase 3, respiratory distress. In a small percentage of cases, the respiratory tract infections will progress to respiratory distress, characterized by chills, fever, cough, and trouble breathing. Trouble breathing, trouble breathing. That's what you need to listen for. When the patient calls you up and they say, doctor, you've been working with me, or I have this condition, I'm now having trouble breathing, you tell them to go to the emergency room. Ask them to be driven to the emergency room. If necessary, ask them to take an ambulance to the emergency room. This is a serious condition. Unless it is resolved in a reasonable time, it can be critical. The sooner it's addressed, the better. So when the patient says anything to you like, I'm having trouble breathing, or I can't seem to catch my breath, or I had one patient say, yeah, no, I'm not having trouble breathing. I just can't catch my breath because I had to walk 4 feet to the phone. That's the time they must go to the emergency room. X-ray and CT scan of the lungs will show signs of disease, as will lab tests. The keynote of respiratory distress is crisis management. Although there is no cure for virus infections, we do know that if the signs and symptoms can be managed, most people will recover. Respiratory distress is best handled in a hospital setting. Supplements are usually not given during the hospital stay because it makes the hospital staff for you to bring in bottles of these supplements into the intensive care unit where this patient is going to be. You've had your chance in the beginning, or the patient had their chance in the beginning, whether they took it or not, that's up to them. You'll have your chance again should they survive. But now we must step aside and allow the intensive care personnel to help save this patient's life. Phase 4, recovery. Recovery begins with the improvement of signs and symptoms. The keynote is strength and vitality, strength and vitality, strength and vitality. The good news is that the patient's body has developed natural immunity. Now, they're finding more and more about natural immunity. And one study, although not conclusive, has shown that natural immunity beats vaccine immunity. And the best immunity, this study showed, was when patients were both vaccinated and had a previous infection. I'm not going to take a position on vaccine, but I just want to say natural immunity is, we don't want to get ill to get natural immunity, but if a person gets ill and survives the illness, they now are blessed with nature-given or God-given natural immunity. The bad news is that the body has been impacted by both the infection and perhaps the medications used. It's likely the patient will be weak, fatigue, and have perhaps residual breathing difficulty. There is something now called I'm not going to mention that name, I promise you, but there are long extended effects that can occur after certain viral infections, and you need to help that patient as soon as you can. Now is the time to implement a healthier lifestyle, reducing stress, eating a clean diet, and doing regular exercise as your body permits. I also recommend a certain package of supplements which will be very familiar to you. The Immune System Health Pack that started in the beginning for prevention, and we use it on the end to promote recovery. And continue Fengri and pneumotrophin as long as needed, which means as long as symptoms persist. Now, the immune system weakens over time. The immune system protects your body from harmful bacteria, virus, fungus, and toxins. The immune systems are made up of various organs, cells, and proteins that work together to protect your body. The stronger your immune system is, the less likely you will get sick, and the faster you recover if you do get sick. The immune system can be weakened by stress, drugs, smoking, lack of exercise, and other factors that we're all more or less guilty of. Stomach troubles, frequent colds, slow healing wounds, and feeling tired all the time are all signs of a weakened immune system. The immune system becomes weak over time, and since we cannot change the past, it's a good idea to do what we can do to strengthen it in the present. Give me a hallelujah for that. Put it in the chat box if you agree. And don't ask me to spell that. Okay, I'm going to jump on to the next slide. Okay, strengthening the immune system. One surprisingly easy way to boost your immune system is to stimulate certain acupuncture points. Studies show that activating certain acupuncture points can boost the immune system function of organs, cells, and proteins. In this video, I'm going to show you how to locate and activate 3 acupuncture points that have been used for hundreds of years to boost the immune system. Okay, before I fire that, I'm looking for my hallelujah. Can anyone give me a hallelujah in the chat box? Are you with me? All right, hallelujah, here we go. Here's the video. This is the one that your patients will link to. I'm going to fire it now.
Hello. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you a simple way to boost your immune system. Your immune system protects your body from harmful bacteria, virus, fungus, and toxins. The immune system is made up of various organs, cells, and proteins that work together to protect your body. The stronger your immune system is, the less likely it is that you will get sick, and the faster you'll recover if you do get sick. Your immune system can be weakened by stress, drugs, smoking, lack of exercise, and other factors. Stomach troubles, frequent colds, slow healing wounds, and feeling tired all the time are all signs of a weakened immune system. The immune system becomes weakened over time. And since we can't change the past, it's a good idea to do what we can do to strengthen the immune system in the present. One surprisingly easy way to boost your immune system is to stimulate certain acupuncture points. Studies have shown that certain acupuncture points can boost your immune system function. In this video, I'm going to show you how to locate and activate 3 acupuncture points that have been used for hundreds of years to boost immune system health. These remarkable points work for people who are sick and those who are not sick. They work for people who are taking antibiotics and those who are not taking antibiotics, and for people who are healthy and those with pre-existing conditions. It is recommended that you use all 3 points because they work together. My name is Dr. Baritz. I'm a chiropractor, nutritionist, herbalist, and I'm certified in acupoint physical medicine. I've helped thousands of people live healthier and happier lives, and I want to help you too. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified when more videos come out. The first point I would like to demonstrate is stomach 12. Stomach 12 is known as empty basin, signifying its ability to clear the body of bacteria, virus, fungus, and toxins. In addition to helping boost immune system function, stomach 12 has been used to improve lymphatic drainage, to reduce neck and shoulder pain, as well as alleviating coughing and breathing difficulties. Stomach 12 is located just above the middle of the collarbone. To locate stomach 12 on your left side, locate both ends of your collarbone, here and here. Then find the midpoint, which is right about here. Now find the spot that is just above your collarbone. Press in to find a point that is sensitive, sore, tender, or painful. That is stomach 12. Activate this point by rubbing it quickly 5 times. Take a break for a count of 5 and repeat 4 more times. It might look like this. Or if you have a Tay-Shin, it might look like this. Now locate and activate stomach 12 on your right side. After activating stomach 12, shrug your shoulders a few times, turn your head from side to side, and see if you don't feel less tension in your neck and shoulders. The next powerful immune boosting point is gallbladder 40. Gallbladder 40 is known as Mound of Ruins, signifying its powerful ability to restore the body after injury. In addition to its immune boosting qualities, gallbladder 40 is said to reduce inflammation in the eye, reduce migraine headaches, and improve gallbladder function. It is also used to help with ankle and foot rehabilitation. To locate gallbladder 40, put your index finger on the tip of your ankle bone, right about here. Then move your finger down and forward till you come to a slight depression between 2 bones. Press in to find a spot that is sensitive, sore, tender, or painful. That is gallbladder 40. Activate gallbladder 40 by rubbing it quickly 5 times. Take a break for a count of 5 and repeat 4 more times. It might look like this. Or if you have a Tay-Shin, it might look like this. Now locate and activate gallbladder 40 on your right foot. After stimulating gallbladder 40, move your toes, feet, and ankles around. See if they're moving more freely. Conception vessel 12 is the third point that has been used to strengthen the immune system. Conception vessel 12 is known as middle cavity, signifying its effect on the abdominal organs. In addition to promoting immune system strength, conception vessel 12 is used to relieve acid reflux, symptoms associated with gallstones, and to reduce cholesterol levels. This helpful point has also been used to relieve hiccups. Conception vessel 12 is located 1 hand's breadth above the umbilicus. To locate this point, place the flat of your hand on your belly just above your umbilicus, like this. Using deep pressure, feel for a tender or painful spot just above the knuckle of your right index finger. That is conception vessel 12. Activate this point by rubbing it 5 times quickly. Take a break for a count of 5 and repeat 4 more times. It might look like this. Or if you have a Tay-Shin, it might look like this. During or shortly after activating conception vessel 12, you may notice a sensation of heat or energy in your abdomen or back. This is normal and therapeutic. If you want to boost immune system function, I suggest that you activate stomach 35, empty basin, gallbladder 40, mound of ruins, and conception vessel 12, middle cavity, 3 times a day for 30 days for initial results. Then once a day for the next 90 days to continue the progress and stabilize results. And if you know someone who wants to boost their immune system, please share this video with them. It is intended to help them strengthen the immune system and just might save a world of hurt.
All right, well, that completes our video and our presentation. I would certainly be happy to answer any questions that you have.
ST12 verse 35.
Stomach 12?
It's all the question says. ST12 verse
I believe,
35.
let me take a look here, see if I might have numbered that wrong.
It says you have stomach 12 in diagrams, not 35. So maybe verse the notes they're talking about. Video stated 12 first, then in recap said 35.
Oh, yeah. Stomach 12.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Good point. Thanks for reminding me. I'll make sure that's fixed in the at least in the handout.
Definitely. And then what is this? Does D2 have to be converted to usable form?
No, D2 is usable in its own form. It's just not as usable as D3.
Right. And I believe that was the form when used when they were calcifying bone, when it was, they had some problems with that in the 30s. Royal Lee wrote about that. I gotta remember that article. I talked about it 2 weeks ago. I just don't have it on me. Let's see. Can you give us the Chinese name of the point like the last time?
I can. My pronunciation is so bad is why I tend not to do it. Yeah. I can do that right now if we want to. So we got stomach 12 is the first one.
Yep.
Let's see here.
Well,
what are you thinking there, Ben?
Oh, no. Go ahead. You're good.
Yeah, stomach 12 is Q-pen, Q-U-E-P-E-N, Q-pen, and gallbladder 40. Is keys. I'm going to spell it Q-U-I, which I think is chi, and X-U, which I know there's a way of pronouncing it. I just don't know how to pronounce it. But it's Q-U-I, X-U. And conception vessel 12, I believe.
Shoe.
Yeah, there we go. And middle cavity, and it's really, the Chinese don't really call it conception vessel. They call it Ren, the Ren vessel.
Well, let's talk.
But it's Zhong, Z-H-O-N-G, Wan, W-A-N, middle cavity.
Great. All right, more questions. First off was here, doctor asked, how many Fengri? So I'm guessing per day?
Oh, I think I
try to make these questions as long as clear as possible, please. And we can.
I'm fairly confident. I mean, I can slide back to it if we want to, but I'm fairly confident that Fengri. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
I didn't put in how many. Somebody is really paying attention. Let me just take a quick look here for you. Give me a sec here. Fengri. Yeah, it's 3 capsules 3 times a day. So in this product, the bottle dose is 3 a day that's on the box. We triple that for this type of condition. So it's 3 times a day. Okay.
Great. Great. Next one. Thoughts on using echinacea for Th1 dominant immune conditions like autoimmune?
I love echinacea. You know, I think everybody should be taking echinacea, and it does work for autoimmune conditions because, well, it works for patients with an autoimmune condition. You know, so it's boosting, you know, the natural, you know, response to these challenges to the body.
Great. And, you know, and add to that your Romania complex, which is the #1 Medi-Herb tablet for autoimmune issues, is 50% echinacea premium. So yes, absolutely, you were dead on with that. Correct. Bullseye. General question coming in. How do you feel about Viranon?
You know, I actually have not used much of it because I'm so happy with what I have. So I don't really have an opinion just because I haven't had a chance to really, well, I've had a chance, but I just haven't really used it much. I'm kind of in the slot that's working real well.
Great. Okay. Any other well, there's a question that says, is there a D1?
I've never heard of a D1. And you know, I was going to look up why they called it D2 and D3. I think it has to do with the molecular structure, not in terms of like I discovered this, then I discovered that.
Yeah, I think what happened now is they used to just have vitamin D. Then there was an ergocalciferol was vitamin D2. Then they defined it as cholecalciferol as D3. We know D2 is the synthetic form, D3 is the internal form of what we make. And initially, D1 was a mixture of compounds that wasn't a pure vitamin D. So it kind of left the vernacular and it's no longer used.
Oh, thank you for clarifying that, Ben. I never knew that.
So, you know, when the sun hits the cholesterol in the skin, it converts into the cholecalciferol. So that's why we call it D3. Yeah, I think we got it.
Wonderful. Well, it's been a pleasure to get started again.
Yep, thank you all. And as I noted at the top, they're all recorded and we will have them edited and available in about a week. We look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, same time. New link will be coming your way with the notes. And they come from info@spnutritionni.com. It's a group email, but below the typical threshold for spam. But if by 6 p.m. on a Tuesday you don't have it yet, just check your spam folder. It should be there, or give me an email. I send them out the day before they go out on Monday. So thank you all, and thank you, Dr. B.
Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Have a great night, everyone.